There's only one thing that is the source of all suffering in this world, of all destruction. The same one thing that ruins our lives, that ruins the planet, that steals energy from the masses and uses them, and then throws them away when they're no longer useful. The same one force that is driving everything to its destruction. You see, we like to think that it's the things that we do that destroy us, our addictions, our desires. But there is a much deeper underlying problem that we must address. And you have the power to heal this in yourself. And by doing so, you can heal this in the world. You see, there are only two main forces in life, in the universe. Something you already know, but perhaps may not have thought about it this way. We all know the yin and the yang, chaos and order, darkness and light, death and life, entropy and energy. These are all different versions of the same two fundamental forces. Have you ever asked yourself why we die? Why are there evil people? Why are we destroying the planet? What is it that we are doing that is sin or wrong? And why? Why do bad things happen to good people? Why do we get disease and suffer so much? And the moment you come to this simple realization, you will be unable to look at the world in the same way, because you will have understood the fundamental aspects of reality. The same forces that are driving everything, you will begin to see them everywhere and why they emerge, why these things happen, why there are evil people, why there is disease, why we are destroying ourselves and the planet. And so you see these two forces, light and darkness, life and death, they cannot be in the same place at the same time. Where there is light, there cannot be darkness. Where there is life, there cannot be death, and so too the opposite. And we are all positioned on this spectrum. Are we closer to life, or are we closer to death? How do we discover this? By how you feel on a daily basis. You see, this life is the source of all peace, of all love, of all joy in our existence. And death is the source of all suffering, all pain, all misery. On one side you have heaven, and on the other side you have hell. And we are all on the spectrum, and you know where you are on that spectrum by how you feel. Are you bursting with love and joy and peace on a daily basis? Or are you suffering in misery? And we have to ask ourselves, why? Because the moment we come to the answer to this question, and if we can solve it within ourselves, we can create a more loving and harmonious world, not by going out and changing anything, but by changing ourselves, and by default, we will act as a beacon of light that will heal our suffering, that will heal our pain. If you are a joyful, peaceful person, you will spread joy and peace and happiness wherever you go, because people will be able to connect to that life within you, and you will act as a mirror for people. And they can say, I want that. I don't have peace and joy and happiness. How can I do this? And you will give them the opportunity to connect with this life within themselves. You can create a spark of inspiration that will help them embark on an inner journey to find freedom, to find the light within. And so you see, the only reason there is death and destruction and misery and suffering, the quickest way to ruin our lives is to be separated from the force of life. That is energy, that is light. People who are evil have become separated from the life within themselves, and so they are a force of darkness. They are a force of chaos and destruction in the world. There are two states of energy. There is physical energy, that is like our blood and our oxygen and the air that we breathe, and all the things that support our life, the vitamins and the minerals and all that stuff. And then there is the ultimate formless state of energy that is consciousness. So practically speaking, we get cut off from life by having a stagnant body and an active mind. Because the mind uses up a lot of resources. Our brain does. And so if we're not moving and circulating the energy in our body, then all of our life is getting sucked up in the mind. And we get caught in this little reality of pain and suffering, this construct, this matrix that is our mind. We get lost in the story of what we believe our reality is. You see, the mind is a tool for separation. It allows us to exist as a separate, autonomous individual. It allows us to say that, well, I am me and you are you. And we are us. And this is very useful. But the problem is that with this sense of separation, we get cut off from life. And the reason for this is because life is experienced in the present moment. And the mind, this construct, our identity of who we believe we are, operates in the past and in the future. It judges reality. It has desires. It has aversions. But it can never be satisfied. Consciousness, as the fundamental energy, is that life that is experienced in the present moment. And so on a physical level, if our body is not active, all of those excess juices go up into our mind and feed the construct of our identity, of our mind, of this story. And this gets us stuck in this kind of bubble. This bubble separates us from the present moment and separates us from life. And we cannot survive without being connected to this life within us. For instance, think about depression. Why do we get depressed? What is happening here, and why can't we feel any peace or happiness? And the answer is simple. You see, depression is like death by a million cuts. A whole variety of different things on a daily basis are stealing our energy, this life within us. And the more we are separated from this life, the closer we get to death. And so what depression is the experience of being consumed by darkness. If you've ever experienced depression, you will know that's what it feels like a black hole that you can't get out of. And so the first step is always moving the body to get out of our minds. In whatever way you can, doing deep breathing, circulating the energy, restoring your physical life, your physical energy. This will give you the clarity and the resources to gain awareness of these different problems in our life. We have to realize that these two forces are living in us, and they are in control. They are what possess us. So if you don't wake up inspired and motivated to be alive, it is, whether in the short term or the long term, your life is being drained. Because the moment you are deeply connected to life, you are imbued and sparked with inspiration to live. And the more you are cut off from this life, the more you feel like not doing anything. You feel like dying. And the deeper and deeper you go into death, the more you have the desire to die. And so everybody who has committed suicide or done any evil act in this world has done so because they are consumed by darkness, by being separated from the light, through a strong attachment to a mind identity, getting trapped in this bubble, this construct that paints a picture of the world, of a reality that is completely surrounded by darkness. The mind is a tool that directs the flow of life within us. And so the quality of our life is determined by the quality of the things that we focus our attention on. This is the difference between a serial killer, or a priest, or a doctor, or a homeless man, or a billionaire. It is that we are programmed to focus on certain things, and the things that we focus on, that is what we create. Because this energy, this life within us, is the force of creation. So we have to ask ourselves, are we creating death in our life? Or are we encouraging life? And you will know which side of the spectrum you are on by how miserable or how happy you are. We have to find the energy blockages in our life and take them out one by one. We see our addictions, our negative thinking patterns, our beliefs, our attitudes, the way we look at the world. These million different things will add up to a very big energy drainage. And so you are either on one side or the other. You're going down or you're going up. And depending on how fast or slow is determined by where you are focusing your energy. And don't beat yourself up over it if you are going in the wrong direction, because this system that we live in is designed not only to keep you in distraction, so your mind is unfocused, but it's designed to make you focus on fear, to direct your energy toward negativity and therefore waste it. So it's basically like consuming your life, like a battery in the matrix. And so if you are suffering, or if you are in hell, or even if you're just not happy or at peace, the way forward is to reconnect with your life on two levels, on a physical level, and you can say on a spiritual level or on a higher level. The process is very, very simple. You move the body, you make sure you're eating healthy, hydrating properly, making sure you're not deficient in any areas, taking care of the body the best you can. And this will help give you power over your mind. And then the next step is taking control of your focus and your attention and taking it away from all of the things that are negative, that drain you of your life. The stories, the beliefs, the ideas, the attitudes, because all of these things will take you out of the present moment. And the more you are separated from the present moment, the less you are truly living. And the less you are truly living, the more you are really dying. You're going down. The key is to take your power back from the construct of the mind and surrender into the present moment where life is. The more you can just be as you are and allow life to unfold for you, this is when the magic happens. This is when the peace and the joy and the love naturally arises from within you. It's already there, always. This deep source of inner riches. Abundance is everywhere, always. But we place the limitations upon ourselves, and we cut ourselves off from this life. We are the source of our own problems and our own suffering and our own misery because of our unconsciousness, our lack of awareness of the thoughts and the actions that separate us from life.